This is Michael out in Maui. Aloha. So if you've been enjoying all the videos I've been putting out, I recommend subscribing to the channel. By subscribing, you'll be notified every single time I put out a new video. So today I wanted to talk about, in my throwing series on throwing forehand, just some problems you might come across when you throw the disc. So the first one is, you gotta always throw the proper disc. A lot of times guys like to throw overstable discs when they throw forehand because you want to make sure the disc doesn't flip on you, and go to the left. So a lot of times people will throw an overstable disc to make sure it comes back to the right. So when you're throwing your disc, you got to make sure you pick the proper disc. So one of problems I always see people have is when you're running in to throw, so you're here and you come in, you stand up too straight here, and then that brings your arm up. So now my arm is above my elbow. And what that does is you end up bringing the wrist up. And you'll throw the disc high on this outside edge, and it'll just, turn to the left. But it's just a breakdown of the wrist, but it kind of happens because you're standing up too straight. So you want to stay down with the throw. So, as you're coming in to throw, your head's on top, you're here, down here. The angle of your body, puts your arm below your elbow here. The hand is below the elbow. And like I said, you can see if I stand up straight, it brings the disc up here. And that's when you throw it high, like I said, and it's going to turn to the left. So you just got to make sure you stay down with the throw. The arm stays down here on the throw. Another problem that a lot of times people have is you're rolling the wrist into the shot. When you're releasing the disc, it's here, and what they're doing, you can see like the front of my hand right here, is they're rolling it this way. See how the thumb's coming on top? And then that pitches the nose down. So when you throw, you gotta keep the palm up. The palm stays up on the shot. So when you release the disc, as you come through, you release the disc and the palm is up. And, it's released almost just like that. You kind of push with your fingers and the palm stays up. And that'll help keep the nose of the disc proper. You're not going to roll it over. But those are two of the biggest problems I always see people have. Like I said, you'll come in too straight and you'll throw it like this, nose up. Or they throw it and roll this wrist over on the release of the disc, and you'll get a, pitching it down on the shot. And then I guess the third thing is just make sure you bring your back leg around. When you throw, as you throw, let this leg come around on the shot. And that'll help transfer all the weight to the front, and you're going to get maximum power on your throw. So that would probably be the other thing, people aren't transferring that leg to the front. So you got to bring that leg around, to get the maximum throw. Just like that, step through. So those are some of the problems that you might come across, when you're learning to throw forehand. So anyways, I hope that helps you, get your forehand throwing down. So anyways, this is Michael out in Maui. Aloha.